Clorox Sentiva smells like grapefruit. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
Okay, we could be here all day. Try Clorox Sentiva for a trusted clean with long-lasting freshness. Also available in lavender and coconut. Use as directed.
This is The Other Side of Midnight. I'm Frank Morano. I have encountered, I'm a lover of phrases. There are so many different iconic phrases throughout American history. Phrases like, only you can prevent forest fires. Phrases like, buckle up, it's the law. Phrases that are indelibly marked in all of our brains. And as far as I'm concerned, there's one phrase that I always come back to time and again whenever things aren't going well. The phrase is, the ship be sinking. And I will never forget that the progenitor of that phrase is Michael Sugar Ray Richardson, a fascinating man who is obviously an NBA player, but he was one of the first NBA players that I remember being able to cross the line into the pop culture. A lot of people have done it since then. People like Magic Johnson, people like Michael Jordan, people like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James. But Michael Sugar Ray Richardson was an original as far as I'm concerned. And now he's got a new book out in which he deals with his struggles on and off the court. And it is fascinating and, dare I say, inspiring. I am very, very pleased to welcome to the program former NBA star and, quite frankly, the first player to be banned for life. He's also the author of the new book, Banned: How I Squandered an All-Star NBA Career Before Finding My Redemption. Michael, it's great to have you on the program.
It's great to be here, but you left out a little bit. I also was the first player that was reinstated. You left that out.
Well, that's the most important part. We're going to get to that. That's part of your redemption. Michael, yes. Even people that are basketball fans may not know much about your background. You grew up initially in Lubbock, Texas, and you had to move because of the racism that your family was facing. And then when you moved to Colorado, that's when you developed your passion for basketball. How different would your life have been if your family stayed in Lubbock, Texas?
It could have been really, really different because at that time it was really prejudiced, and it was awful. It was awful. And my mom, she decided to move to Colorado to try to give us a better life, and it all turns out very, very well.
You had a very tough stutter as a young person. What was that like growing up? Did it lead to bullying?
It was, kids, would just make fun of me, laugh and stuff. But I thought it was just part of growing up. As I got older, I got better.
One of you detail in this book, which is just terrific. It's a must read, even if people aren't interested in basketball, because there's so many different things in here about life, about fame, about drugs, about addiction. One of the struggles that you write about early on in your life was a false rape accusation. This has got to be a nightmare for every man in America. Tell folks about that and what that was like for you to deal with.
Well, I came out of high school, which was an all-black high school, and then I went to the University of Montana, where I was the only black on the team for the first 3 years. So one night, me and a friend went out. I met a girl. She came back to the room, spent the night. Then the next day, I guess her friends was teasing her. Then after she told her friends that I was, that I raped her, but I really didn't rape her. So I had to wait a whole week before they came down from Seattle to give me a lie detector test. And when I tell you, I thought that they was going to frame me because it was back in the late 70s, early 80s. You know what I mean? So for that whole week, I was under pressure. And so, like, when the guy came out and I took the test, About 45 minutes later, he called me and told me that I had passed the test with, flying colors. And then he asked her to take a test, and she wouldn't take the test. And then he asked me if I wanted to file charges, but I didn't file any charges. I just let it go. But I mean, it can happen to anybody. You know what I mean?
That's so scary. And as the father of a 3-year-old myself, I wonder what kind of challenges he's going to have to face in the community. All right, when he's older. Let's talk about basketball. Your early years with the Knicks and your all-star performances made you a household name in the basketball world, even as I alluded to beyond the basketball world. What was the pressure like of being dubbed the next Walt Frazier, and how did it shape your approach to the game?
Well, it really didn't. It wasn't a lot of pressure. I knew I could play, but I'm telling you, playing in New York, it's much different playing anywhere else in the NBA, because the New York fans, they know the game and they will not be cheated. So you had to come out night in and night out, giving them 120% on the court. Long as that, you were going to be a part of them.
Few players have led the league in both assists and steals in a single season. Can you share what drove that sort of intensity and how you approached leader on the court?
Well, getting to the NBA, and I remember one time during a game, Bozeman pulled me over and he told me, listen, if you want to play this game and you want to be around a long time, you got to be a defensive player. We already have $1 million scores. Mm-hmm. You got to be you have to do something that's no one else wants to do. You got to play defense. You got to pass the ball. So after he told me that, then that's what I focused on.
Makes sense. When you reflect on your time in the NBA, what moments stand out the most, both on the court and off the court?
Off the court, if I could change, I would change a lot of things off the court. But on the court, I was furious. I wouldn't change anything.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Shopping is hard.
I can never find anything in my size.
I don't even know my size.
I buy my clothes the same place I buy my groceries.
There's a better way. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Just share your size, style, budget, and done. Your personal stylist sends pieces picked just for you.
That was easy.
Stitch Fix. Online personal styling for everyone. Free shipping and returns. No subscription required. Get started today at StitchFix.com.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
Morning decisions. A creamy mocha frappuccino drink? A sweet vanilla? Maybe a smooth caramel? Or that white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Start your day with bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drinks. Pick up a bottle near you wherever you buy your groceries.
You've been very open, not only in this book, but over the last, decades, about the struggles that led to your lifetime ban. Was there a specific moment when you realized you needed to make changes in your life, or was it a gradual process?
It was a gradual process, and that's the problem with people that have alcohol and drug problems. You really don't think that you have a problem until it's too late. And then once you have a problem, being a professional athlete, it takes a lot of sacrifice. And that's part of a struggle of, drugs and alcohol, because you are so mentally strong and tough that you made it to the NBA that you think, well, I can control and do anything. But there is always something out there that's a little bit stronger than you. And at the time, it was drugs.
The media coverage of your suspension was relentless. How did it feel to have your personal battles play out so publicly, and how did you cope with that?
Well, it felt awful, but, I looked in the mirror, I put on my big boy pants and said, look, you got yourself into it, you got to get yourself out of it. And that's what I focused on, getting myself out of it.
At 30 minutes after the hour, this is The Other Side of Midnight. My guest is Michael Sugar Ray Richardson, former NBA star and the author of the new book, Banned, How I Squandered an All-Star NBA Career Before Finding My Redemption. Obviously, Michael, substance abuse is a challenge that's faced by a lot of people, not just athletes. What advice would you give to someone who might be listening right now, who's at their lowest point, trying to reclaim their life?
Well, my advice to them, what you got to understand is this, is the problem is bigger than you. When once you realize that you have a problem, then you're on your way to recovery. Because if you don't understand that you have a problem, you will never recover.
After you played in Europe, you had a lot of noteworthy games in Croatia and all over the world, really. Why turn down the opportunity to come back and play for the 76ers? A lot of people would give their left arm to get the opportunity to go to the NBA once. You had an opportunity to go twice. Why turn down that return?
Well, what happened was they had offered me, I was 33 years old. They had offered me a one-year contract at $800,000. I wanted another year guaranteed, and they didn't want to give it to me. So after that, I said, I'm going to stay. I ended up staying and playing another 7 years. So, I made the right choice.
You played in not just Croatia, but Italy, France. When building that career overseas, were there any cultural learning curves that you had to get used to? I don't know, whether it's language, whether it's going to the bathroom differently, whether it's different type of food. How did you take to playing in Europe?
I left with an open mind because I knew it wouldn't be like living in America. And I had experience before I went to Europe. I had already been to Europe, so I knew what to expect when I got there. But, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing because living in Europe is an unbelievable life. In America, we work to survive. In Europe, they work to live and enjoy their life. Over there's 2 or 3 hours for lunch. In America, there's 30 minutes and you got to get back to work.
If that.
That. So what kind of life is that? Every day when I was over there, I took a siesta. I would wake up in the morning, have practice at 10, come back home at noon, have lunch, go to bed, sleep till 4, wake up at 4:30, have another shoot around or something at 6. I had the easiest routine that anybody could want playing professional sports.
So it sounds like you think maybe America could learn a thing or two from Europe, at least culturally.
Oh, my God. Could they? Everybody thinks that everything in America is better. Open your mind and go overseas and look, and you will see. That's my advice.
If people are just tuning in, I'm Frank Morano. This is The Other Side of Midnight. My guest is Michael Sugar Ray Richardson, author of the new book, Banned, which everybody is talking about. There are a lot of people, especially in America these days, that want their children to be basketball stars. A lot of young people want to be basketball stars. Youth basketball clinics have become a big part of your life. What's your philosophy in mentoring the next generation of players, and what do you hope they take away from your story?
Well, our camps is a lot different because what we do is our camps are free. So there's no other camps that professional athletes that are doing camps that are free. So what we do is we use basketball a way of getting the kids in, but we try to teach the kids life skills. Like 30 minutes out of each day of our camp, we have someone come in from the private sectors to talk to the kids about safe neighborhoods, bullying, drugs and alcohol, the internet. I mean, so our way of doing things, what we're trying to do is make the kids see that there's a other part of life that's also besides professional sports.
Well, that's outstanding. In your book, Banned, it's a story of redemption. Tell me why you want to write this book and what you're hoping people take from this.
Well, the reason why I wanted to write a book, because there's a lot of books that was written that I had nothing to do with, that was written by newspaper clippings or anything. I want to write this book because this book is coming directly from me. This is my story. This is my truth. This is why I wanted to write it.
That's outstanding. Obviously, you worked with a co-writer on this. How was that collaborative process? How did that work out?
I think Jake was unbelievable. He was easy to talk to. He understood everything, and he would let me be me. Everything in the book is me, and everything in the book is the truth.
No, that is terrific, and based on what I've read of it, it certainly seems that way. Looking back at the NBA today, do you think that the league's approach to dealing with personal issues like addiction has changed for the better?
I think so. Well, what they did was now is that they had marijuana on the list, and I guess there's a lot of guys in the league that are smoking, so they had to take marijuana off the list. So I guess they kind of understand, since it's legal, that they had to take it off the list.
In terms of, now you've lived multiple lives as a player, a coach, a mentor. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Stay strong and believe in yourself.
I love that. It's good advice even for people that have nothing to do with basketball. All right. A lot of people who have followed you over the years might be wondering about this. Your nickname, Sugar Ray, has become iconic. How did it originate, and what does it mean to you today?
Well, it originated from the University of Montana. When I got to Montana, there's mostly guys like Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, how they got in the middle of their name is Ray. So what they do is, if they're pretty sweet in their profession, they'll give you that name. And I got the name on the basketball court because I was sweet.
I love that. That's outstanding. What's one moment in your post-NBA life, whether on or off the court, that made you realize redemption was possible?
When I left America in 1988, going overseas.
That was it. That was the moment for you.
That was the moment.
Yeah. Well, good luck with the book. I'm excited about it. I hope people check this out. Hey, before I let you go, though, in terms of what you're up to today, obviously you're doing your coaching, you're doing your mentoring, you're writing this book, and hoping people read it. What else are you up to these days?
I have a son that plays professional soccer in Florence, Italy. And so I spend a lot of time going back over, hanging out with him, trying to make it easier for him over there.
One thing that's been raised, not only in basketball, but in football, I'm sure every professional sport, I'm sure your son deals with this, is the issue of mental health. More athletes today are speaking openly about mental health challenges. How important is it for the league, whatever the league is, whether it's the NBA, NFL, anybody, and teams, to provide resources for young players adjusting to the spotlight?
I think it's huge because mental health is real. You know what I mean? There's so much peer pressure. There's so much other stuff that's going on outside of professional sports. It puts a lot of pressure on these people that people can't handle.
A lot of young athletes struggle with the instant fame that comes with social media. Any advice for people that might help them stay grounded?
Well, like back when I was playing, social media, it wasn't that, it wasn't that outgoing. But now social media is so big. My advice is to stay off of social media, because there's a lot of good stuff, but there's a lot of bad stuff.
Who was the best trash talker you faced?
Isaiah Thomas.
I tell Thomas. All right. I love that. All right. Hey, Michael, this has been a real treat for me. I'm wishing you the best of luck with the book. I'd love to talk with you again soon.
Thank you. I'd love to talk to you at any time.
Thank you. If you want to comment on any portion of my discussion with Michael Sugar Ray Richardson, you're welcome to give me a call. Our phone number is 646-720-0635. That's 1-646-720-0635. This is The Other Side of Midnight. Straight ahead.